recording going? So welcome. For those of you who may not know me, I am Jennifer Brown. I'm the Family Consumer Science Extension Agent in Person and Granville County in North Carolina. And thank you for attending our Lunch and Learn for today. It is on Personalize Your Plate. Every March is National Nutrition Month, and the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics creates a theme for every March for National Nutrition Month. This year's theme is how to personalize your plate. So we're going to get started talking about what that means, and we're also going to show you a lot of different resources at the end, some of them being from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. They're pretty much an academy that is made up of nutritionists and registered dietitians, and we'll talk about how you might want to reach out to a registered dietitian to get more information or kind of a one-on-one meal plan, possibly. So why is this important? The reason that we want to celebrate National Nutrition Month is because we want to promote eating healthy, but we also want to promote a long-term lifestyle eating pattern. Okay, so this is not just going on a diet for the month of March. It's not like it's for Lent or anything else. This is kind of changing your lifestyle. And the theme this year being Personalize Your Plate is because we're all different shapes and sizes. We come from different backgrounds. We have different eating patterns and, eating tastes. Some of us like, just kind of American food. Some people like a lot of different flavors and cultures and Southern food or Italian or Greek food or whatever else. And so this presentation is kind of to provide information to you about how you can just personalize your plate for yourself. Your plate may be different from the other people that are eating at your table, even in your household, because you're a different age, you're a different body shape, you're different genders. You might have health conditions that someone else doesn't have. You could be different races as well. So we want to give you information to kind of help do that. Some of the information you're going to get is at the end of it, I'm going to show you some resources that are online. And at the end of the workshop, after the workshop, I'm going to send you all an email. It'll have this recording of this webinar attached to it, but it'll also have handouts and links to some of the websites that I'm going to show you and discuss. So the objectives that we hope to achieve during this workshop are as follows. We're going to explain the benefits of a healthy eating routine and kind of how to go about doing that, how you can actually personalize your plate at each of your meals. And then we're going to give you a couple of ways to make healthier food and beverage choices as well, because not only is your food important, but your beverages are a part of that. Your beverages are technically considered food. Anything that you consume is pretty much considered food. So what is a healthy eating routine? Basically what that means is we want you to eat a rainbow, kind of like I've told you guys before. We want you to eat a variety of good, healthy, nutritious foods from all of your food groups. So there are 5 food groups: your fruits, your veggies, your grains, your proteins, which you probably, like me, grew up knowing as meat and beans category, and then your dairy category. But you can see even by the logo of the Personalize Your Plate, or by my background here, we want a wide variety of colors, because different fruits, different vegetables, your grains, your proteins, your dairy, all of those have different nutrients that are important for your body. Some of those nutrients change slightly, what you need change slightly as you get older. But something that doesn't change is just your overall need for a variety of different nutrients. And so you have to eat a variety of different foods. Why is this important? Is because people who eat a healthy eating routine have a reduced risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, certain types of cancer, as well as a reduced risk of being overweight or obese. Even just this past year is a wonderful example of even the increased importance of staying healthy. if you looked at some of the statistics for COVID-19, you would hear about different things that might make you more at risk for not only, you know, getting COVID, but also the effects of it, you know, and even possibly dying from it. So the side effects were worse, or, you know, even possible death, your risk of death was increased if you had some other underlying condition, or if you weren't as healthy. Maybe you had heart disease. There were people who, you know, I would see that even were young, fairly young people that were overweight and obese and had diabetes and different things. It made them more at risk for dying from an illness such as COVID-19. So, you know, but you don't want to have any of these illnesses because it's a lifetime chronic illness. It never goes away. You can never cure heart disease. You can never cure diabetes. You're just kind of, you know, like cancer, in remission. You know, you may be able to manage it, but you're always going to be living with that risk of it. You know, it could be it's a genetic risk. Maybe it runs in your family, or it could be, again, a lifestyle that you were just eating too much fat. You're eating too much sugar. So we're going to talk about how to kind of reduce your risk of these chronic illnesses by personalizing your plate and eating a little bit healthier. So you can see they have a wide variety of different colorful logos this year for the Personalize Your Plate. And if you notice just slightly, some of the pictures, some of the images in those logos are just a little bit different. Like one of them, you might have, you know, a fish in it. The other one, it's you know, a carrot or an apple. It's got some bread for some grains. It's just kind of to remind you that no matter what you're eating, you need to think about your plate. When you sit down to think about what you're going to have today, if you haven't eaten lunch yet, or what you're going to have for dinner, you want to think about all of the food groups. And you want to think about the color on your plate. That's why it's a very bright, colorful logo, is because you need a lot of color in your diet. One other thing I thought about when I saw these logos is the different sizes, because to me, it looks like a plate, like a dinner plate almost. It's better for you, or it's been shown that if you eat off of a smaller plate or a smaller bowl or dish or something like that, you're more likely to maybe not necessarily eat healthier, but you're at least eating less of the bad stuff, even if you're not eating as healthy as you should be. So that's one way to help your plate, is eat off of small plates. You know, you don't need to have a big platter. Our plates, if you remember what you probably ate off as, you know, as you were growing up, they weren't like these huge plates. Or if you, even when you went out to restaurants, you didn't get this huge bowl, even if it's a big salad bowl. Our plates and plates have gotten bigger. Our drinks have gotten bigger. You know, even if you go to a fast food place, they, you know, they have these huge super size, big gulp drinks. So as our plates and our drinks have gotten bigger, so have we. So just think about that as you're sitting down. Get a smaller plate for dinner, and you're less likely to completely fill it up. You know, you're not going to have as much food on that small plate just because you don't have as much room for it. So that's why I know sometimes when I go to other parties or different things, they'll have like a you know, a plate, but then they have these little dessert plates. I'll get the dessert plate, so maybe I'm eating less. You know, even if I want a little bit of the quote unquote bad stuff for me, I'm at least going to eat less of it because I don't have that much room on my plate. So, but when you're personalizing your plate, you always have to start with the My Plate, and you can get information on the choosemyplate.gov website. And again, I'm going to show you a couple of different websites at the end. But one of the things, again, when I first see this logo, it's very bright, it's very colorful, just like a rainbow. And it used to be that we had a food guide pyramid. They changed it to a plate because to try to make it a little bit easier for people to understand. Because when you had a big pyramid, it was kind of difficult to, well, you need to eat 3 servings or 4 servings of this. What's a serving? You know, a serving size is different from me than it is for you. You know, just depending on how much you're putting on that plate. But it could be that, I know, you know, my husband has a bigger serving than I do. So just trying to pay attention to what you're putting on your plate and how you can be a little bit healthier with that. and looking at the bright colors. We want a variety of different things. It's just not just one color. We want to make sure that you're getting a wide variety of foods from different food groups. Again, you're not just, eating just fruits and vegetables. You're not just eating, grains and proteins. I have a lot of people that all they eat is meat, bread, and potatoes. They're not getting that variety of foods that they needed. And making sure that also it's got a cup for dairy products. You don't have to be drinking a glass of milk, but you want to be thinking about your beverages and what are you drinking? Is it adding calories to your meal? Is it adding any nutrients, or is it just adding more fat to your plate? And this hopefully kind of gives you an idea that you need to be planning your meals a little bit better. Are you sitting down and, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? Are you only thinking about the protein that you're having? Are you thinking about fruits and veggies? Are you thinking about, a healthier way of cooking some of these different things? And then just being aware of those things, just being aware of, I'm having a meat at every meal. Do you need to have that? Is it a fatty meat? Are you deep fat frying your veggies instead of grilling them, instead of roasting them? How are you cooking those things? So we're going to go a little bit further into it and see if we can get some more suggestions and tips for you guys. Oops, sorry. I don't know what happened. Apparently, when I clicked on to move to the next screen, apparently my cursor happened to be right on top of the stop share button. So, okay. So hopefully you can see the PowerPoint again. So when you looked at that My Plate logo and you look at this picture here, the main thing that hopefully jumps out at you is half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. And again, very bright, colorful things, because if you look at the other half of the plate, which is your protein and your grains, there's not a whole lot of color there, which means you're not getting as many nutrients as you need. So trying to focus on that half of the plate there that is very bright, that is very colorful, because that's where your nutrients are going to be. If you're one of those individuals that, you do have some health issues and your doctor is like, oh, you need to take calcium pills and fiber pills and vitamin B pills and, all these kind of pills, one of the ways that you can get off of some of those supplements is by making sure you're getting the nutrients in your food. The reason you need those supplements is because you're not getting it from your food. Those pills are supposed to supplement your nutrients that you should be getting from your food or from other places. You can get vitamin D from sunlight. So just being out and about more is going to help you get the nutrients of vitamin D that you need. If you are lactose intolerant, you can get calcium and even vitamin D from your orange juices. Some of them are calcium or vitamin D fortified with my orange juice. So I get my nutrients in other places as well. And making sure that you stick to these sections here, that your grains, I'm a bread eater, but making sure that my grains don't fill up half of my plate, and then the meat fills up the other half and I have absolutely no color on my plate. That's not what we want. When you're looking at the dairy category, we want to make sure that it's not very high fat dairy products. Can you use lower fat cheeses? Even if it's on something healthy like a salad. Can you use, low fat milk? If it's not skim milk, can you at least use 1% in your cereal or things like that? So these are just a couple of, suggestions just when you're looking at this My Plate, is we want you to personalize your plate by looking at what you are eating, looking at little changes. You can start small and just make small changes and it'll make a big difference there. So how much do you need? Well, your daily recommendations of vegetables are about 1.5 to 3 cups. And then your fruits are just slightly less than that. It's about 1 to 2 cups. But if you're like, my children love fruit. They can eat fruit all the time. They're over there making them big bowls of strawberries and blueberries, and they were eating grapefruit today, and then they wanted plums, and they love fruit. Well, it's got sugar in it. It's natural sugar. So it's not added or artificial sugar. So that means they're getting sugar, but they're getting at least good nutrients. You're getting sugar if you're eating, Fruit Loops, but there's not a single bit of fruit in it. So you want to make sure that if you're getting the sugar, you're at least getting natural sugar and you're getting the nutrients from real fruit. Um, and so I have to kind of remind my children, okay, you're done with the fruit. Now you got to eat some veggies. I don't want to discourage them from eating fruit because it is something good and healthy for them. But they need to get even more veggies on their plate. So I have to kind of, remind them of that. And I let them choose. I give them that flexibility. So if you're cooking for, yourself or your family or even, a spouse or something like that, and maybe they're picky, ask them, okay, what vegetable do you want? I do have to be a little bit more specific sometimes because, of course, my children, like anyone else, is going to be, corn and potatoes, the two starchy vegetables that most people eat. I'm like, no, give me some green veggies. Or, I go and I give them whatever I have. I'll pull the canned veggies out, pick one of these. And I've got more than one children. So I'm like, okay, you pick tonight, you get to pick the veggie for tonight, because they have a little bit more say into it. So I'll even do that with my husband. He doesn't have a problem, eating vegetables, but still, there are some that he would prefer over others. So I'm like, what do you want? And then I'll eat this other one that you don't want for lunch tomorrow. So those are just some, making sure you understand how much you're supposed to be getting. And you can get a measuring cup to actually measure it out to see, or about the size of your fist is about a cup. So again, just, you can kind of eyeball it as well there. So with your fruits, we're going to kind of go into the 5 food groups and just talk about each one just for a moment individually. Your fruits. There are different ways that you can get fruits in your diet. Now, you might not have a problem with fruits. That's why we're going to talk about all 5 food groups. But I know some people that don't eat fruits, especially I know some people who are diabetic, so they think they're not supposed to eat fruits, or I don't even know if a doctor maybe told them not to eat fruits because, sugar. And I'm like, no, you need all 5 food groups. You can talk to a registered dietitian and they will tell you the same thing. You need all 5 food groups. So some ways to get fruit into your diet is including it with breakfast. So, you can buy a cereal such as Raisin Bran and it's got the raisins in there. You can get some yogurt and granola and put some fresh fruit on top of it to make a yogurt parfait. You can make some fruit smoothies. If you have even some just ice and orange juice, and throw either some fresh or frozen fruit in the blender and just mix it up really quickly and have a nice smoothie. You can even get vegetables that way. We've put spinach in a smoothie before. We put peanut butter, which is a way to get protein. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to sneak fruit in. The healthiest way is to make sure that it's not highly processed. So again, I can go to McDonald's and get me a little apple pie, and technically it's a serving of fruit, but it's got a lot of fat and a lot of extra added sugar. So we want you to try to, eat a whole fruit instead of drinking a glass of orange juice. Eat that orange because it's about 70 calories. It has more fiber than drinking a glass of orange juice that has less fiber and has about 120 calories. So. And don't forget, fruit is just a healthy snack. Just, whenever you're having the munchies, just grab some fruit. I'll try to keep the little, canned fruit or the little plastic little containers, whether it's of applesauce or fruit cocktail or something like that. I try to get the 100% juice version if it's a canned or, a packaged kind of a fruit. But those are things that I can keep at my office in my desk drawer. They don't need refrigeration. And they're just a good snack versus me going to the vending machine and getting a bag of chips. So look for recipes that feature fruits. So when you are, hopefully maybe increasing your meal planning, you're looking for foods or meals that actually incorporate fruits. Maybe even fruit is the star, or you're making a salad and you're adding fruit on top of it. Or even I had a main dish, it was a pork tenderloin with peaches. So it was something actually in my slow cooker. So I put, I think it was a pork roast, but I put a pork roast in there, and I believe it was I just used a can of peaches, and it had a couple other, ingredients in there, and you just, slow cooked it. And, you could eat the peach sauce or even just take the peaches out. So the peaches were kind of just, intermixed with the meat there in that slow cooker. So it really flavored the meat, but you could still eat the peaches as well. It wasn't something, oh, we'll just throw the rest away. And then don't forget about desserts. Desserts are probably what hurt us a lot. Desserts and snacking are what kind of hurts us the most. But if you kind of think about the fact that fruits are also sweets, everyone's like, oh, I just have a sweet tooth, or as I've gotten older, I've gotten more of a sweet tooth. Fruit is a sweet food. When think about babies, once they eat that baby food jar of some kind of applesauce or some kind of a fruit, they don't want that vegetable baby food jar anymore, okay, because they've tasted the sweet. So it's the same thing. Substituting fruit, or at least making sure you're incorporating fruit in your dessert. We didn't make an apple pie, we made an apple crisp, or we made like an angel food cake and then just put some strawberries on it, as opposed to, well, let me put some ice cream on it, or let me put some chocolate, sauce on it. How can I still get my fruit and I'm still getting something I want, like the pound cake, but I'm not overloading it with calories? I'm not going overboard. Same thing with vegetables. Try to get creative. Try new vegetables, whether we're, a kid or whether we're getting older. You still need to try new foods, because just because you didn't like something when you were young or even 20 years ago doesn't mean you don't like it now. Your taste buds change over time. So that's why I'm always telling kids, there are things that I used to not to like to eat when I was your age. Now I do. I'm sure that will change as I continue to get older. And then don't forget, it's okay to experiment, try different things. It's not always going to work. It could be you're not trying a new food, but you're trying a new cooking method. I had never, okra, okra. The only way I've ever eaten okra was fried okra. It's just, it's a Southern thing. That's all I grew up. Recently, somebody told me how delicious roasted okra was. So I actually grew some in the garden last spring and I roasted it and it was delicious. Just like I'd never had Brussels sprouts before. It's something kind of, I think as a kid, you just hear the word Brussels sprouts and you're like, ooh. So as I got older, I made myself try it. And there are certain ways, you probably are the same thing. It's like, oh, I don't like green beans any other way except the way my mama made it. Or, I don't like so-and-so this way, but I love it grilled. So trying new cooking methods is a way to do that too. And enjoying vegetables as a healthy snack. Making your own veggie tray. They're very expensive if you go buy them at the store, but making your own tray and watching those dips and sauces though. I mean, because a lot of them just come with a ranch dip and you get more ranch than you do veggie. So trying hummus. That's a good, healthier protein source of a dip. And just different colors. So you see on this slide right here, there's a lot of different colors at the bottom there. When we talk to kids about fruits and vegetables, we actually go through the rainbow. I'm like, name me fruits and veggies that are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, all of them. And I'm like, these are the colors that you need to be thinking about on your plate, and try different colors, try different ways. You're not going to like it always. Okay. You're just going to have to try things. You're going to have to try to change the ordinary, so some people, it's like, ooh, just toast. That's boring for breakfast. Some people will make avocado toast and, they, cut slices of avocado and you put it on their toast and they love it. Some people, again, they're used to a normal, what they call a normal salad. Let me throw some mandarin oranges, on it. Let me throw some raisins or some apple slices or just different things. So trying new recipes. I'm going to give you a couple of websites. Again, I'll show you at the end as well as in the email that will show you different places that you can get different recipes. And don't just judge the book by its cover, because I know I will see recipes. They may not have a picture, but they just have the title and you describe it. And it's like, that doesn't look like it would go with each other. That doesn't look like it would be good. Try it, or make your own little changes to it. Like, I really don't like this vegetable that's in it. I'm going to substitute it with this, but still everything else in the recipe is the same. So try different things like that. Little changes that you can make to your normal foods to add a little bit more color, and things that you can change to take away some of the fat, some of the salt, and some of the sugar in the meals. So when you're looking at vegetables, again, I don't care how you eat them. I don't care if they're, fresh, frozen, or canned. You can eat the raw veggies as a snack. You can put them on your salads, put them in a sandwich, make a veggie wrap, make dips. You can use it for salsa or relishes or any of those kinds of things. Or you can add it to things that you're already making. This time of year, when it's been really cold, we've made a lot more soups or stews. We've got plans to make some beef stew this week. And basically it's whatever vegetables we've got in the refrigerator. We're just going to dump it in the crock pot with the meat and let it slow cook. Because that's a way that I can get myself and even my kids. If it's got meat and potatoes in it, they'll eat the other vegetables that are in there and they won't argue about it, because the meat and potatoes is still the star of the show in their mind. But I'm sneaking vegetables into them and they don't realize it. I've done that with lasagna. I've stuck spinach in, or even just other things. If I'm making a veggie wrap or fajitas, that's when I'm like, let's get creative and let's throw this veggie in there. They're not expecting it, and so they just eat it and it tastes delicious to them. So thinking about ways that you can cook it. I don't care if it's a side dish or if it's the main course is the veggies. We did that the other night. We had a bunch of veggies and just made like a vegetable stir fry with some rice. So we had our whole, it was brown rice. So we had our whole grain there. And so that was kind of just the main part of the meal. It's like, we don't even have to have any meat. Now we happen to have some leftover chicken. So we were able to toss some of that in there, but we didn't have a whole lot. So it wasn't, like a chicken stir fry. It was a veggie stir fry with a little bit of chicken. So that's how we got that into our meal. So, and then not forgetting the other categories. So fruits and veggies are supposed to be half your plate. That's why I wanted to talk a little bit about them more and give you more suggestions. It's because that's where you're going to get the most color on your plate. But you still need to remember the other things. So when you're looking at the dairy category and you're looking at that milk, that yogurt, and that cheese, how can you make it less fat? When you're looking at your grain products, again, I love bread, I love pasta, I love, rice, but can I make it a whole grain? Can I get my cereal a whole grain? Can I, cook a meal with whole grain oats as opposed to just getting the instant oatmeal packets that are going to have more sugar and more salt in them and more fat possibly? What can I do? Can I make it from scratch? Now, again, I'm not talking about making pasta from scratch, but I can sure make, oatmeal that I cook in the microwave from scratch. So things that aren't going to take you a whole amount of time. And then when you're looking at the protein, getting lean protein, whichever of these proteins you like, great, eat it. Just try to make sure it's lean and watch your portion sizes. So your protein should be about the size of the palm of your hand. That's a serving size, okay? Or if you do have a little kitchen scale that you can weigh your meats, it's about 3 to 5 ounces is a serving size of meat. Most of us, we put that whole pound of chicken breast in something and we'll eat half of it, and we're eating too much meat. Again, the serving sizes are big. It is better for you if you can, maybe eat some more fish, because they are good for your heart health as well as your brain health. If you're eating chicken, it's better to eat the white cuts of meat than it is the dark cuts of meat. Again, the beef, just look at the leanness of it. Cut some of the fat off of it, if it does have that marbling on it. But if you're getting ground beef, just trying to get the 93.7% lean beef. If you're getting deli meat, again, deli meat is very high saturated fatty meat, so we want you to stay away from that. But if you are, eating it, just even in a sandwich, making sure that you're eating less of it. You're not going to Subway and getting a cold cuts trio and you've got 3 types of meat and the sandwich is, really thick and really huge. So you're getting more vegetables on your sandwich than you are meat. So breaking down each of the categories just a little bit is ways to get more grains in your diet. Again, is just start buying your loaf bread, whole grain bread. So that way, if you're having a sandwich, if you're having toast, whatever, you've got that whole grain right there. Making sure, I've even got whole wheat flour. So when I'm baking a product, you don't really taste the difference when I'm baking something and it's whole wheat flour. And even if you don't want to use the whole amount of flour to be whole wheat, have both in your cabinet. So you can put half of it as, normal all-purpose white flour, and then the other half of it, you can do whole wheat flour. So just getting a little bit more whole grains in your diet. When you're getting tortillas or wraps or different things to make tacos or sandwiches, making sure they're whole wheat tortillas. We don't have too many options for noodles. When you're eating pasta, you basically have whole grain spaghetti, or you have the whole grain little rotini noodles. You'd have to go a little bit further out of Person or Granville counties to find, whole grain lasagna noodles or whole grain, angel hair pasta or whatever else. But typically our stores that we have locally, you're not going to find them. Now you can go into Durham, go to Harris Teeter, and you'll probably find a slew of whole grain noodles. We just don't have the demand for them in our grocery stores, so they don't really supply them that much. And I always keep brown rice on hand. Rice is fairly inexpensive, so that helps. And it's very filling. So if I serve rice on the side, it's going to help fill me up. So maybe I eat less of the other stuff that's on my plate. So I'm saving money, saving calories, and I'm saving food for leftovers for tomorrow there. Your proteins. Again, can you get a variety? A lot of people is just beef, and unless you live on a cattle farm, just try to eat a variety of it. I understand if you raise a particular animal, and so you have a lot of beef or you have a lot of chicken at your house, but trying to remember that there are other sources of protein besides meat as well. You can get beans, peas, lentils, nuts, and seeds. Even eggs provide protein. The peanut butter provides protein. So all of these are different sources of protein. It is recommended to choose and eat seafood twice a week. But on the same flip side, a lot of people I know, the only way I know how to eat fish is to fry it. So if that's the case, then, reach out to me and I'll give you some other recipes of how you can cook different types of fish a little bit healthier than frying them. Also, fish doesn't have to be expensive. A lot of people, thinking, oh, seafood's really, really expensive. You have to look out for deals. You can even get canned. They've got canned salmon, canned tuna. I mean, there's a variety of different things as well. So trying to select a leaner cut of meat is important. So you can get round steaks, you can get roast, you can take the skin off of your chicken. These are different ways to do it as well. I had someone mention about the pasta and the grains. They've used chickpea pasta. So again, that's a way of getting, that peas, that is a plant-based source of protein, but it's a grain because it's a pasta there, or well, it's not a grain, but it's pasta there. So lentil pasta as well. The chickpeas is what they use to make hummus. So it's a pea, looks kind of like a little light colored, light brown pea or bean, and then grind it up and make hummus. And they can add all different kinds of flavors. If you're interested in hummus, it's in the kind of the deli section where they have the cheeses and different things like that. They've got hummus there. So they've got different flavors like pine nut hummus, roasted red pepper hummus, garlic hummus, cucumber hummus. So you can test out the different flavors and find one that you like. And those are really good, again, dipping vegetables in it. And they're a good source of protein, and it's a lean source of protein. And I've mentioned kind of milk before, is same thing with the meat, just making sure it's a low fat or fat-free option as much as you can. And then thinking about it too, can you add less of it? If you're making like a lasagna or different things, it calls for so much cheese. Can you just cut out a little bit of it, even if it's like, a half of cup of cheese, or making sure that the cup of cheese that you're using is at least low fat. So looking for things like that. When you're looking at your products, especially the products that come in a box, a bag, or a can, we want you to look at nutrition labels. And we actually have one of our lunch and learns in April is specifically going to be about understanding nutrition labels. But this brief slide, I wanted to just kind of give you the things that you want to look at the most. So this is what a new nutrition label looks like. So it's been revamped a little bit from what we used to know it as. You can just tell a little bit about it that some of the things are very bright and they're bold colors, and it's a little bit bigger. So first thing is the serving size. We mentioned before, one of the reasons they changed the My Plate from the food guide pyramid to a My Plate is because nobody knew what a serving was. So we want to make sure you understand that. So it's bigger and it's bolder, and it says serving size is 2/3 of a cup. So if you want whatever this product happens to be, go get a measuring cup, and put 2/3 of whatever it is in your bowl. You are eating a serving. So what you are eating is 230 calories. It has 8 grams of fat, 160 milligrams of sodium, and 12 grams of sugar. Now, if you go and you just keep pouring and pouring and pouring, and you get twice as many, you get like 1 1/3 cups of serving, you're getting twice as many calories. So it's going to be 460. So this is how we get more than we think we are getting. We look at something, oh, that's not that many calories. We're not following the nutrition label. We're not getting the amount of serving sizes. We're getting more. So you're taking something that shouldn't be too bad, and you're making it worse for you. You're doubling the calories, doubling the sodium, doubling the sugars and the fats. So those are the 3 things that you need to look for, because you want to limit them. You want to limit specifically the saturated fat. So I'm not looking at the part that says total fat, because this could be, and in fact, this product has 8 grams of total fat, but only 1 of those grams is saturated fat. So that means the other 7 are unsaturated fat. Unsaturated fat is the fat that's good for us. It's the heart healthy fat that it helps us. Okay. So if I'm looking at this product, this is not a bad product when it comes to fat, okay? Because it's only 1 gram of saturated fat. So you want to limit that. You also want to limit sodium. So sodium is only 160 milligrams right there. And to know if that's high or low, you can actually go over to the right and look at those percent daily values. So whatever this product is, it's only 7% of your daily sodium intake. That's not a lot, okay? You want to make sure your percentages are, if it's something good for you, such as fiber, you want it to be like 5%. It's like 5 to 20% is what you kind of want. Those are the 2 numbers that I look at. So you don't want any of your bad stuff to be above 5%. You want the good stuff to be about 20%, okay? So if I'm looking at below at the calcium at the bottom of the label, it's 20% calcium. It's 45% iron. So this product is a good source of iron. It's a good source of calcium. And then don't forget to look at your sugars. So that's the last one you look at. Not just the total sugars, because this product says there are 12 total sugars. But if this product had a lot of like fruit in it, like real natural fruit in it, it's going to be high amounts of sugar because it has a good amount of real fruit in it. But you look below where it says total sugars. and it'll tell you how much added sugar. So how much, sugar that is not natural has been added to the product. We want this number to be low or even non-existent. We don't want any added sugars, because if you were to take the label of Fruit Loops and you compared it to Raisin Bran, you will see that Fruit Loops and Raisin Bran have about the same amount of sugar, but Fruit Loops has a lot of added sugar. The sugar from Raisin Bran comes from the raisin, so it's natural sugar. So you need to be able to read these labels so you can compare your products, and so you can understand what a serving size is and how much you should be eating. So we've mentioned a healthy eating pattern, and overall, those are the foods that you want to limit. Foods and drinks that have a lot of salt, a lot of sugar, and saturated and trans fats, which are the bad fats, because these three things are the things that make us fatter, that make us more unhealthy. Sodium's going to hurt your heart. You're going to have possibly high blood pressure, or you're going to have just different heart disease issues. The sugars, it could lead to diabetes. The saturated and trans fats, again, that could be heart disease. It could be high cholesterol. It could be heart attack, stroke, different things like that. So trying to limit these things. The only way you can really do that is to make sure you're reading their labels. Or another trick is to eat food that doesn't have a label. And the food that doesn't have a label is your fresh fruits and vegetables. Okay. There's no label on a banana. It doesn't tell you how many calories are in it or what a serving size is, because it's good for you. Eat as much as you want. Okay. But don't take something that's good for you, like lettuce, and put all this other bad stuff on top of it and call it a salad and then drizzle it with ranch dressing. That's not healthy for you. I've mentioned your cooking method is also important, because you can take a healthy food and you can do things to it in your cooking process that are bad. So the ways that you want to cook it is to grill it, steam it, broil it, bake it, roast it, stir fry it, and stay away from the deep fat frying of it. Okay, because I've got a little picture here. We want you to stay away from the fats and the grease. Okay, because these are fats that are solid at room temperature. So instead of cooking with butter or shortening or margarine, we'd rather you cook with oil, such as vegetable oil, olive oil, canola oil, those kinds of things. Watching your meats and your dairy products. These are going to be higher in fat. So making sure that you're choosing the lean cuts of fatty meats when you are eating these foods. So even if you want your ice cream and your dessert, just watching the amount of fat, getting the low fat vanilla ice cream or something like that, watching your serving size, knowing what a serving size is. So, and then just eating it in moderation. Doesn't mean you need to have ice cream every day, make it a treat, make it a special thing. And then rethink your drink. I mentioned at the beginning that your beverages are just as important as your food. We want you to drink water, because water has no calories and it has no sugar. If you want to flavor it, because maybe it tastes boring or dull, or you want some flavor, you can add fruit. You can add cucumbers, strawberries. You can add herbs like mints, mint leaves or different things, and that will help flavor it for you, but it's not giving you anything bad as well. Soft drinks have twice as much sugar as a candy bar. Now, again, this is not me advertising, hey, go eat a candy bar, because the candy bars typically have more calories and more fat than the soft drinks do. They have about twice as many calories as a soft drink does, but the soft drink has twice as many sugar grams as a candy bar does. So if you're just drinking one soft drink a day for an entire year, you're going to have eaten 50 pounds of sugar. So got bags of sugar up here. These are 5-pound bags when you go to the store and buy them. There's 10 of them. And again, this is just soft drinks. This is not, eating any cookies or cakes or anything like that. You just drink one soft drink a day. And that's just kind of like a 12 ounce. I'm not even talking about the 16 or 20 ounce or 32 ounce drinks that I've seen some people drink. And this counts for any of those things, whether it's sweet tea, soft drinks, Some of those energy drinks are crazy, looking at the labels of these drinks. And I've seen it with children or even, grandchildren, people giving them these, well, it's just a fruit juice. Is it 100% juice or is it only 5% juice and mainly sugar? You have to read the labels to know that. My daughter has a drink in there that I did not buy her, but it's like a chocolate banana smoothie thing. It's got 37 grams of sugar in the darn thing. Now, again, I know some of the sugar's from the chocolate, some of it's from the banana, but I also know some of it was added. And I'm like, it's a bottle that probably is supposed to be drank, in 2 different servings. But the kids, they're going to drink the whole bottle of soft drink, the whole bottle of smoothie, whole bottle of, fruit juice, Gatorade, whatever it is. So paying attention to what you're drinking and how much you should be drinking. And water, we need 8 glasses of water, 8-ounce glasses of water. Or if you're getting those normal water bottles, 4 of those 16 ounces. That's how much we as adults are supposed to be drinking every day. Most people, can't even fathom drinking that much water a day. But if I told you that you had to drink, 4 big 16-ounce cups of coffee, no problem. Yeah, I can do that. I drink that before I leave my house in the morning. No, we need to switch that. If you're drinking coffee, black coffee is fine. But when you start adding the sugars and the creamers, you could be putting on weight just because of all that extra stuff that you're drinking or all the extra stuff you're adding to your coffee in the morning. Little changes is what we want you to focus on. So we've got our stoplight, and we use this with the kids when we teach nutrition to them, because everybody knows what a stoplight looks like. You know the colors, and what it means. Now, for some reason, my picture is backwards. Green is up top, but we want you, these are your go foods. You can eat these anytime. These are the foods that are low in fat, sugar, sodium, and calories as well. And typically they're higher in fiber, which are good for you. So this is the difference of eating your apple there. The yellow foods, slow down. You can eat these, but just eat them sometime, because they're going to have a little bit more fat, a little bit more sugar, sodium, and even calories than the green foods. So that would be my applesauce. And then the red stoplight, that's the eat rarely. These foods are even higher in fat, sugar, and sodium. And they have a lot of calories, and they really don't give you a lot of nutrition. Okay. They might taste great. They might have a lot of flavor. They might make you feel happy and good and all that stuff. And again, I didn't say never eat these. I said, eat these rarely. These should be a special treat. This is where people tell me, well, it's my birthday, or it's an anniversary, or it's, something. There are always events going on in your life. And yes, celebrate them and have that one sweet treat that you want. But this should not be I have a bowl of ice cream before I go to bed every night. That's a little too much there. Slowing that down. And, if it's something you're eating every night, try to switch it to every other night, and then every 2 nights, and then every 3 nights. And then eventually you can get to where you're having it once a week, or you're having it once a month, or you're only having it on special occasions. Just little changes can make a big difference there. I'm going to finish up, but the My Plate website has a program called Start Simple with My Plate. So I'm going to show you that website, and I'm also going to show you the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics website, which is the eatright.org website. So, but first, I want to let you remind you about our next workshop. We have Lunch and Learns pretty much every 2 weeks. Typically, it depends on how many weeks are in the month, but typically it's the second and fourth Tuesday of the month. So our next one is 2 weeks from today. Is Tuesday, March 23rd. This workshop's a little bit different than some of the ones I've done before, because I'm not just teaching it by myself. The livestock agent and the horticulture agent that I work with, we're all going to come together, and we're going to teach this workshop about your food. And we're kind of talk about myths and facts. So in that, we're going to talk about all of the food labels that you see on your products and what those mean. We are going to mention some ways to prevent food waste. We're going to talk about organic versus conventional food production. We'll talk about genetically modified organisms. So you've probably heard of GMOs in the media or whatever else, and some decisions that you can make every day when you go to the grocery store, and to give you a little bit more information about how your meat is produced, because there's been some meat shortage and different things this past year. So we want to give you some information about all of your food labels. I will send the registration link for this workshop in the email that I follow up, but if you're able to attend that workshop, hopefully you can make it. So I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to see if I can go. Okay, so first I'm going to show you some handouts that will be attached to your PowerPoint. So the Academy of Nutrition Dietetics has a whole list of handouts, resources, fun games, puzzles, different things to celebrate National Nutrition Month. So I'm going to show you that website in a minute, as well as, where you can find the links. But these are two of the handouts that I will attach to the PowerPoint. So one of them, since I spent a lot of time talking about fruits and vegetables, is 20 ways to get more fruits and vegetables. So pick a couple of these tips and see if you can work on that over the next week, over the next month, whatever way you can get more fruits and veggies into your diet. One of the other handouts, is just 20 health tips. So it's not just focused on fruits and veggies, it's just 20 tips to be healthier. Some of these I mentioned, watching your portion sizes, making half your plate fruits and vegetables, consulting a registered dietitian or nutritionist is important. So let me show you the website that I have. Okay, let me click this one. Okay, so the first one I'll show you is the Start Simple with My Plate. It's an actual app that you can put on your smartphone if you have it. It is available, I think it says, yes, in the App Store or in Google Play. So if you have an iPhone or a Droid, either one, you can do this. So in the app, you can personalize your plate, basically, because you can pick your goals. What are your goals? If it could be a specific food group, I want to eat more vegetables. It could be, whatever. I want to eat healthier protein foods. And then you can actually set a goal for yourself at a specific time. And then you can look back in the app and see real-time progress. Check every day to see if you're working towards your goals. So you're, putting your food into the phone, putting it down, what you're eating. So it can kind of tell you, I noticed that you've been eating a lot of, you've been putting a lot of whatever, like butter on your in your meals, or you're eating a lot of cheese, but I don't see low fat cheese. I mean, it'll give you suggestions just by you putting your food into the smartphone app. And it even has little fun things where you get badges. So, it celebrates your successes with you, and it challenges you to stay motivated. And it'll give you other tips and suggestions. So this is an app you can do, and there is a little video, so you can watch the video on your own and get some more information about how it can help you. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, it has again, it's eatright.org, but I'll send you that website. They have a new National Nutrition Month toolkit. So it has all these fact sheets. So these are the two fact sheets at the top here that I just showed you. But if there is a specific topic that you are struggling with, like I need sugars, like I need less sugars because I'm diabetic, or I have heart issues, I need less salt, you can go and click on these and get these PDFs and read through. If you want to personalize your plate and you like a particular type of food, I love Latin American food or something like that, you can get tips on how to eat the foods that you love while personalizing it for you. If you have kids or grandkids, it's got information for kids. It has even ways about being physically active. I didn't talk about physical activity with here, but it's got plenty of information. So you can look through these handout here. It even has some fun little games and quizzes if you love, word searches or things like that. So I'll send this information, this website to you as well. On the Choose My Plate or the myplate.gov website, the last website I'll show you here is called the My Plate Plan. So you can, if you don't have like a smartphone, you can just do this on a regular computer here. So you can just click on Start here where it says Get My Plate Plan, and it will take you, it'll ask you some basic questions. Okay, so it starts with your age and it goes to okay, I was messing with it earlier. Okay, so if you put your age in, that's my age, I'm 39. And then you put your gender, your weight, your height, your physical activity, and you click calculate a food plan. And it will come up with something like this. It'll say, okay, you're over than 14 years of age. So it kind of lumps us all in that same category there. And it says to maintain a healthy weight or to get a healthy weight, to lose weight, you need to eat this many calories. So it says 2,200. I just put in some random stuff in the thing and it popped up with 2,200 calories. So that tells me how many calories an entire day I should eat. So if I'm using apps on my phone to keep a food log, then it'll add up how many calories I'm eating. And I can see how close I am to that 2,200 calories. And I want to stay, at least below it. I definitely don't want to get above it because that's going to be what helps me lose weight. So if you want to use an app on your phone, there are websites as well to track your food. You can start simple with the My Plate app I mentioned, but also the Lose It app and the MyFitnessPal app. Those are apps as well as websites if you don't have a smartphone. Again, I'll send you all these links, but this kind of broke it down into specific food groups. So I can actually click on one of these food groups and it tells me, okay, I need 3 cups of vegetables. I knew that. I knew I needed about 1.5 to 3 cups. So I can click here on the vegetables and it will take me specifically to a vegetable page. So if I need help with vegetables, this is where I'm going to get information just on vegetables. It tells me, what counts as a vegetable. It has all kinds of information just on the vegetable page. And then I can go back and be like, okay, I need more grains. I'm not getting the whole grains group. So this is a way that you can help personalize your plate is by using some of these websites or apps. They're completely free to download and use, and you just have to play with them a little bit and find out what works for you. So hopefully that has helped give you some information about how you can, personalize your plate. You can put in your specific information in the My Plate plan, and you can find out if, what is your food plan that you're supposed to do just by answering those basic questions. And there is more information just up here on the USDA My Plate website. There's plenty of, other recipes or different things that you can play around here in the My Plate kitchen. You can even save recipes. You can watch recipe videos, all kinds of that. So there's a lot of good resources, and I'll make sure I include those links in your email that I send out in a little bit. Are there any questions? No one's typed anything in the chat, but I just wanted to give you a second there. Okay, well, thank you guys for attending. And again, hopefully I will see you at our next Lunch and Learn on March 23rd to learn about your food, fibs, and facts. Okay, you guys take care. Bye.